game for our battle for third. Let's head on over onto the land of Dawn.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Into the land of Dawn we go. Back again. You have to remember the matchups. Ramisi on the Joy, Rui on the Yi Sun-shin. If this was in the previous match, it would be Yi Sun-shin. That's kind of off meta, and the Joy being probably the best pick. But now, tides have turned. Joy is actually in a pretty tough spot, I would say, in the meta. Like, she just doesn't feel as good.
Yeah, if you somewhat look at the ranking, even internationally, right? Yeah. Way back home, C isn't just right at the class S and you put it onto levels. But it really depends on how it'll pan out for Team Liquid. Because basing on their play versus Team Vitality yesterday, they didn't even get a single early game facing, right? It was all interrupted. She was constantly denied. And also the fact that she was unable to get the freedom at all. And for Terror Queens, there's some kind of somewhat of a strength here playing on the role, especially for Satoshi getting the Irritel as well.
Taking a look at the emblems here, Bargain Hunter for the Irritel. This is something that we're just used to seeing at this point of the game.
Yeah.
Bargain Hunter for Zaishi too, and in the early game, we can already see Zaishi and Soju really struggle against the Gato Chacha plus Zetian combo. That's something that I think a lot of mid laners don't expect. The Zetian damage early, like especially level 1. She deals a ton of damage, dude, and the range is very difficult to deal with.
Yeah, you're right. Many are saying that she doesn't have that much damage, but maybe you're just looking at it at a different way, right? And looking at the way that they layer, basing on Terror Queen's previous matches here, they actually use the Zetian quite well. And even for TLPH, even though there was a kind of a bit of a struggle, but let's see. First hurdle up for grabs.
Great pin down there onto Ku as the... Oh, wow, goes for the taunt instantly, and Rui's right there with the Bounded Chakra. Now goes for Soju, caught in the bravest fighter. That's a flicker out for Zaishi, and Daiki is left all alone up against 3. Has the consecration, and will save the sprint. Rui on the turtle. There's no way Daiki ends up stealing this. Rui doesn't even need to commit the retribution. As Cloud rotates over, Skoshi pops in heavy crossbow, now does some damage. AOG doesn't land, but look at Lang cutting her off, forcing the flicker around. Traction pulse, dodged away from by Ku.
They fell right into Terror Queen's trap, right? This is what we're talking about. Even though Team Liquid is trying to adjust her playstyle just to try and cater to what the aggressiveness lineup has to offer here for TQ. But that was a double kill here for Langrina this early. And Ramisi being taken down this early is a whole lot here for TLPH. Not off for a great start here.
Not the best. But this is, I would say, typical TL, typical TQ. Like, TQ are always really good in the early game. Even up against GG when they lost, they always had like the early game control. TL, most of their matches, they're always behind early. It takes time for them to get going. So the mid game is really where I'm gonna wait for. I'm gonna wait for the mid game to make a decision on whether someone is in their win con or not. Right now, Ludolin, like it safe, Ku pinned down. It's in the revitalized, won't get taken down. But AOG, Ludolin in the back as well. Gets covered, try and beats. Ruby walks up, has the mountain chakra, doesn't throw it out just yet. Lang goes in, bravest fighter, Zaishi, able to dodge away from that now. Flicker forward from Lang, one more basic attack with a big sword, gets her down. Daiki still just soaking in damage. Sakoshi, oh, the rotation doesn't get the last hit. Soju able to space away in time.
Yeah, on the other hand, we'll be spotting Rui here. Bullets being thrown out. But still, props to Terror Queens. They foresee what CLPH was trying to do. We've mentioned that they're the kind of team that kind of warms up onto the early facing. There are really rare moments that we see them really pop up from the start. And this game might look like just like that, right? But Kla, on the other hand, that's 3 members rotation. But down for Soju.
Oh, wait, Rui got cut in her own jungle. Ramisi comes in, looking for the cleanup now. Ku taken down. Ludolin and Sakoshi can't do much here. Turtle number 2, and it's Team Liquid. Again, it's what we were saying, Athena. TL, slow starters, but when they get going, they're quick. They shift their gears, and now they've got the lead back.
Sometimes you just have to wait for your engine to warm up, right? Literally, you don't have to speed it up as soon as possible. You have to somewhat gauge the tempo that you want here if you are TLPH. we could definitely see that Ramisi took her time, even though she was taken out early in the game, like around 1 minute or 2 minutes. So, but right now we're definitely seeing some adjustments, and they totally downloaded for game number 1. Oopsie.
There's a catch now. The AOG, great fist crack to evade from it. Immobilization, not enough damage. Great revitalize to get her out, but Daiki's cutting them off. Lang has the bravest fighter. Will go on to Daiki with no mana.
Okay.
But she's still a threat despite not having mana. Look at how disgusting Uranus is here in the game.
She's just so irritating if you're up against it. And this is what we're talking about, playing right to their strengths. Sometimes I do feel like Daiki has a bit of a struggle with setup heroes onto the XP. She's much more off with heroes that just follows, more in the sustain, holding up, zoning them out, keeping them at bay. All their synonyms for that. But if you're Turk means the moment so that you let Daiki out of your sight, she is just a menace, right? Looking at this part right now, Team Liquid finally got the advantage on the Lord. But for Cool, just spotting on members here. Traction falls there.
Bravest fighter with the stun. Zaichi able to flick her out to safety. Gets the immobilization as well as Ramisi. Goes in. That's a fist crack over. Full stacks for Ramisi. Pops in electrifying beats, but Lang's just so tanky. Baits out the AOG. Gets the pick. Ramisi gets away, and Cloud finds the shutdown. Daiki rotating. Eastern Shin up top. Looking for the turret now. Soju goes for the pin. Gets it on Ku, but doesn't have damage to deal with the Gata Kacha.
That's the thing, you need to have an answer this early for Langrina. And TLPH, even though they exhausted a lot of resources there, but what matters the most is they're chucking off onto their hill list. But people to shut down here for Turk Queens, and now they have this huge space for Zaichi and even Ramisi. Daiki, on the other hand, irritating members of TQ.
Bravest fighter used traction pulse 2, locking Ku down there. Soju gonna be caught as well. Ku for Soju trade now as the Bravest fighter gets used up to the back. Ramisi looking for the stacks, able to get 2, now 3. Let's go for the beats. Zaichi taken down by the heavy crossbow. Fadeaway kill. Daiki still staying alive, but the crit of the passive Rui gets her down. Top of the flicker forward. Looking for the kill onto Luna Lin. Gets 1. Sakoshi in the bush. Spotted. She actually walks up to that. Clock hiding away. Lang goes in, looks for the stun, able to find it, and it will be a shutdown to Rui as Ramisi goes in and is unable to look for the full stacks. Electrifying beats just to run away as Rui walks up, traces forward. Ramisi has to run.
That was some kind of an extended clashes or team fights as well. But considering the fact that Kla did a great job onto her Granger, totally manipulating them, using the bush to her advantage. But remember, if you stay too long, Turquins just might go for the... They have this lingering terror, right? And they have this kind of a huge juggle around on who to target, who to dodge out. Most of the damage is coming from the bullet here from the Granger. Right now, onto the map, bit of a messy parts onto some clashes here, but Langrina.
One last shot is all she needs. Good respect from Lang, but that's the damage that TL have, the range that they have. They can just force a fight from out of nowhere. By the time you realize you're getting hit, you're too low.
And while things are quite busy onto the jungle and mid lane, we could see some improvements. Like, it's not Plan Z, it's Plan B happening right now. The next step is to somewhat shove off the lanes here, win the side lane match, go for the split push, and Ramisi has the freedom compared to yesterday, right? And TLPH definitely has somewhat of an upper hand here, establishing a gold lead this early. 8 minutes into the game, we're heading on to a quick pause before we continue game number 1.
It's difficult for Terra Queens to look for a proper fight just because of how tanky the front line is for Team Liquid and how good their disengage is. The peel from the Badang has been phenomenal. Uranus has just been tearing it apart. Like, Terra Queens wants to play their own version of front to back, but it doesn't work when their backline is just so far back because Uranus zones them.
Exactly. And Daiki, as I mentioned time and time again, that this is the kind of hero that perfectly fits her playstyle, right? She doesn't really have to be very decisive on who to target. She could just target whoever. As long as she gets the job right, just deny them, just disrupt their whole position. As we mentioned, it is quite annoying, but for TLPH, it's working, right? And for Ramisi as well, we mentioned that we also like her onto somewhat of a flexible hero onto the map. not really the utility type, but on the assassin side as well. If this is the previous meta, the Joy will be having such a hard time. But for this round, it plays beautifully for the whole draft itself for TLPH.
At this point for Terra Queens, they're going to have to rely on the Lapu Lapu. It's all on Hlang to really dish out damage and maybe get pickoffs onto the backline. Zaishi mainly. She's been very close to getting those pickoffs, right? A few times Zaishi has had to use Flicker and she gets away with a sliver of HP. If she can just get a bit more damage. I feel usually, okay, you don't want to go damage usually on Lapu Lapu, but this is one of the rare cases where I think you need that extra damage because your backline's too far away to follow up what you're doing. You might just have to get a solo kill alone.
You just have to do it by yourself,
yeah,
right?
You have to
adjust, you have to improvise rather here if you're the Lapu here. But also, to add up to that, maybe the layer right now isn't happening for Terra Queens as we mentioned because the backlanes are constantly being shoved around by Daiki, which is a great deal, right? You would want to somehow go for the follow for the Lapu, but if it isn't happening, the Gadot needs to find a way to somehow relieve the pressure onto the frontliner. Very tanky frontliners here for TLPH. Plus, for the Zetian as well, we're not seeing it quite lined up yet with the Fear of the Phoenix, with the AOG, because most of the time, players of TLPH, they're not really sticking together, right? They have this huge range for the Granger, and even for the Kimi that she doesn't even need to be onto the front lines if she wants, right? Just throwing away all of those laser beams.
There's no one else who can really walk up, now that I'm thinking about it, right? Like, we already brought up the topic that the Lapu has to do everything herself. By everything, I mean dealing damage to the back line and actually winning the team fights. Yeah, there's no one else because Lapu is the only one with anti-CC here. So she's going to have to deal damage. She's going to have to burst through. She's going to have to use the Flicker properly too. It's a tough game for Hlang, but if she pulls it off, that's the only win condition I see, at least now.
At least
later
now.
on, Lunalin and Rui will scale up, Sakoshi too, and they'll get to a point where they should be able to deal with the Uranus Rui. Traceless to get away. Man, from Misi's damage.
Okay, we're definitely seeing the fire onto Ramisi, just trying to get for the pick-off. Terra Phoenix activated.
There you go, able to find a stun on to Kla. Doesn't get the kill just yet, doesn't have Flicker either. The clock's gonna be taken down. Sakoshi walks up the heavy crossbow. Now it's going to be Ku going for the lockdown. Soju taken out. Ramisi walks in a bit late. Like to find beats over to Ku. Be able to get the kill, but Ku's just staying alive. AOG forcing Daiki back. TQ with a winning team fight.
And this is what we're talking about. Like, Langrina, even though it's a heavy burden or a heavy responsibility on her shoulders, but once she gets the job done, look, they just took down 2 members, plus a very good pickup onto Kla as well. So right now, checking onto the in-game equipment, Sakoshi is slowly catching up, right? With the Hasclaws as well here, with the Windtalker. You have that clear. You also have kind of the lifesteal and damage. But as long as you mentioned that Langrina improvises, they could actually go and outmaneuver Team Liquid right now.
He's gone for the War Axe, so a bit more damage, a bit more sustain to play with. Pretty good. The Dominance Ice next, though. I think that's... Yeah, I think a Fury Hammer would do her a lot right now. Like, would give her a lot more pressure to play with. We'll see if she actually ends up going for that, but right now, TL does seem like they will just play it slow. Hey! Walks up, gets pinned down, and instantly bursts it down. Clock up the AOG and the taunt. That's going to be a trade at least for TQ. Rui throws at the Mountain Shocker. Zaishi solo. Sakoshi gets the trade down. Ramisi with the walk up. Now Sakoshi's still alive, and it's going to be a mistake. Ramisi walked over. Daiki now in a 1v1 gets critted down, and it's a Sky Piercer for Rui.
On the other hand, Langrina could play that card, right? Sacrificing herself. But Ramisi, on the other hand, I don't think she'll be able to seal off this Lord. That's too many members here for TQ guarding her. And that's a 4-woman takedown for TQ at the cost of just Langrina.
Massive for Terra Queens. We were talking about how Hlang has to be the one to deal damage. Well, if you bait out all of the skills and you bait your opponents into a massive AOG, and again, the massive damage that we're seeing now in the mid-game for the marksman, Rui and Sakoshi, it's great. It's all good. You just bait it out, and it's still a win. Ramisi, though, a bit of a mistake, not going for the kill, instead leaving it over for Soju.
Yeah, a bit of a miss target here for TLPH, but I do agree with Langrina here. Just waste your time, waste your resources, waste the damage dealer's ultimate, right? And for TLPH, that was kind of a miscom as well onto where they should be. They get this idea that's to burst down Langrina as fast as possible, but as you mentioned, Langrina went on to a hybrid build, so she does have that kind of defense, sustain, and a damage that adds up pretty quickly if you layer properly with Sikoshi and Ku. But right now, TLPH being shoved up, they left to defend for their mid lane. Ramise!
Fine Beats gets taken down though still by Rui with a crit. So able to flicker out with the AOG now coming down. Cool will be taken down.
Mikey.
It's Cloud with a double, looking for more. Has Sky Piercer stacks on the board to do more damage, but they end up having to back away because a big Lord is about to charge in their base.
So far, even if they manage to take down team members, but that's Ramisi being constantly shut it down. And for the LPH, even if on the early phasing of our game, you're able to melt down the Lord, you still have that damage, but if this continues, this is actually a TQ win if ever. Looking at the way that they position themselves, they actually get most of the targeting right. Right now, kind of a bit of a struggle here. Still, Ramisi went too far ahead to our liking here after the clash happening. And looking at this instant replay, yes, the Kla does have the damage, but sometimes there are certain moments that she is placed in a position where she is left vulnerable.
So TQ needs to work on that. Right now, they're more of like a... They're very reactive, but not in an appealing way. They're very reactive in an engage way.
Yeah.
Like when Team Liquid make a mistake, or when they look for a dive on TQ, TQ don't actually play to defend their carries. They play to look for TL carries. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it could be bad. I think it would be much safer to just play for Peel, considering, again, you have 3 very good backliners that can back you up now. They all have items completed. They're all within their power spike. You can take a look at the in-game equipment. There you go. Melfic gun done for Sikoshi. Rui doing a good job picking up the BOD very early on. And yeah, even Luna Lin, 0-3-11, 500 gold behind of Zaishi. But she's got the items to back up the rest of the team.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, missing the time.
Oopsie.
Okay, that's it. All right.
Okay, even mentioned onto the itemization. That's quite looking good for TQ, but Ruby, that's 4 members.
Goes in for the stun, doesn't land it, but she's able to escape. Good stun over from Zetian. Now it's Lang. Doesn't want to go for the damage, instead just backs away, flickers out to safety. That's massive, a big resource burnt out. What happened to Ramisi? Mid lane. 2v1 and Ramisi gets caught.
When they were quite busy trying to somehow catch up to Rui, they forgot that Ramisi also needs to somewhat have a bodyguard, right? And for Langrina, she doesn't care if her flicker already exhausted here or activated, but TLPH on war here with Terror Queens.
For the dive, the AOG gonna be cancelled. That's a Sky Piercer stack over. Daiki buying so much time as Rui walks up with a mountain shocker. That's Lang taken out as well. Big traction pulse brings them around. Retribution will get the job done for Rui as Daiki looks for the rundown. But Terror Queens, at least they have a Lord to play with.
They got to, right? That was a triple kill here for Kla, but they're playing it quite well into their favor. We mentioned that even though they're more on the micro team, micromanagement here for TQ, but as long as they don't forget to actually accomplish objectives, showing up the lane, TLPH, even though they're playing to their strengths, they really are struggling. And looking at their instant replay, it all started with Langrina as well, just keeping them at bay. And a very perfect position here for Sikoshi, just doing a lot of damage. Yes, you accomplished 3 triple kills here for Kla, but you forgot that there's still a Lord up for grabs here, and we just took it. They took it out of the hands of the LPH.
Really gotta give props over to Soju. These peels have been amazing. That fist crack, had it not been used at the right time, would have been an AOG over to Kla, and it does land. It's going to be the dive into the back, finding Kla. Just as I mentioned it, that's how big an AOG can be. But Ramisi gets a trade in the bottom lane. At least they get something on the map.
They're accomplishing somewhat too many onto the map right now. Just when we were highlighting some of Soju's amazing plays, she was just taken right off the bat here. Terror Queen's acknowledging, oh, we are having a hard time because of Soju's face crack fist win, so why not take them out? entirely, right? And even Kla, this is what I was saying, that even if she gets the numbers, the stacks onto her Sky Piercer, but if she is easily accessible to TQ, things will not turn out well for TLPH. And Rui. Oop. Wait. Ultimate there.
That looked a bit dicey for a second. Rui jumps inside to the flicker forward, finds immobilization. Very low, gets away with the help of Luna Lin. Daiki pops in a sprint, pops in a consecration. Meanwhile, Ramisi up top, able to go for the base turret. Base turret taken down up top now as Daiki continues to chase on towards Luna Lin. Soju is very, very close. Ku coming in to try to save Luna Lin too.
Soju.
Oh, Daiki dodges away from it, walks Luna Lin down, but doesn't have the mana to get the job done. It's a good attempt from Team Liquid. They baited out a flicker, a big resource from Terra Queens.
As well as getting a turret onto the top lane here for Ramisi. Deciding out. And of course, Rui, Ku might have been, you know, they know that there's someone hiding here. They didn't want to risk it. But for TLPH, that is quite of a dividing and conquering their ground right now. Just accomplishing many things, but at the same time, a very, what do we call it, very difficult situation to be in if ever Kla was again taken down here by TQ. Looking at the Lord being respawned here is going to be the third Lord of the game, being started, being rushed by TLPH. Rui from the back. Might go for a steal here, but Daiki keeping them at bay.
Good job, Rui! Traces forward, finds her entry, but will be taken down. Now Sakoshi with a heavy crossbow, able to get enough damage down on Soju.
Oh, no.
Saji trying to peel. Cloud gets the kill back on Halang. It's a 2-for-1 right now. So Ramisi is able to escape. Can go for the re-engage again as Cloud goes for the bullets over to Ku. Rhapsody coming down. That's Sonata as well. A thought forward, but the Sky Piercer executes her. Sakoshi running back. Ramisi, electrified beats, gets enough damage done for Kla to get the final shot in. It's a double for Kla. Luna Lin looking for the defense with the Lord. She has a frontliner with the Lord. TL slowly but surely getting the job done over to the Lord, clearing it away.
Ooh, what a play here for TLPH. 4 women down here for TQ. But that isn't the end yet. Luna Lin still has advantage to somehow keep them at bay, buy enough time. Rui as well is already alive here, just to try and defend for their base. 74 stacks right now for Class Sky Piercer. And with the passive as well, we can definitely see it being highlighted here for TLPH. That is the kind of chase that they have to do. But they really have to be careful onto Rui still as well. That is kind of a second time that a Lord has been taken out of their hands.
Really tough for them to get control over the neutral objectives, but they've been winning the fights. And honestly, in the late game, that's really what matters. They got 2 base turrets, 2 in the side lanes, which means they will have auto slow pushing waves for the next Lord. Far lane down below, all good for Team Liquid. They don't need to force anything at this point of the game. They can just play it slow and wait for the neutral objective to spawn back in the game. So we got a quick in-game equipment check right now.
Final BOD here for Kla. So aside or on top of the Sky Piercer, we're expecting more explosive damages as well. And Athena Shield already built up here for Ku, just to try and stay alive longer against the very powerful magic power or magic attack here from TLPH. And talking about the adjustments, recently we've seen like 2 Sky Piercers in one team, right? So onto the mid lane, even if you're a teammate, you sometimes need to adjust. And I'm liking it so far. There's only 1 Sky Piercer built up here for TLPH. A Holy Crystal for the last build here for Zaishi, just to try and go for that instant burst that can use damage as well. And might be somewhat of another objective take here for TLPH, but with how things are going, they need an answer to try and get it as fast as possible, and at the same time, not letting Rui ruin the fun for them. Oops.
Rui's getting zoned away. Finally, an attempt now! Full dive in the back claw! Buys him a crown in time, pops it in time too! Now can they save it? No! Sakoshi gets the kill! And this is a massive win for Terra Queens! 4 members going to be down. No, they actually just have 3 members down. Rui's able to escape. Now Daiki looks for the chase. Won't be able to do so. It's an evolved Lord, Athena.
Oh no. This is what we were talking about earlier. They need an answer. A bit too messy onto the defense of TLPH. And Kla, out of all people, being targeted there. This is heavy burden, heavy defense for Zaishi and Daiki. Will she be able to do that for game 1?
There's no way they defend this. Zaishi stunned up. Sakoshi looks for the play. Daiki actually held the Lord in the back. Now the wave's cleared up, but it doesn't matter. Terra Queens win game 1.
What a game. Terra Queens just waiting for the right moment. Even if TLPH has the answer onto the micros, but what about the macros, right? And constantly being knocked out of here. But the rest of Terra Queens, the Terra still lingers here for game number 1. And it's up to our panel to break down the first game for our third battle.
Thank you very much, Athena, as well as Mirko. And also looking at that matchup, it looked close, but there was one glaring difference, which is the Lords. Terra Queens keep getting the Lords, and Team Liquid just keeps giving them away.
I mean, they're not number 2 in the Lord Secures if
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, if they're not able to get those objectives. And I gotta say, both the teams had a piece of mistakes all throughout the game. Many unnecessary skirmishes and some parts. I might say that there were a lot of overextensions. But I gotta say for Terra Queens, again, because of those control in the objectives, they won the game. And for TLPH, it's more of them having the macro control all over the map that actually forced this game to be extended.
I agree on the note of Chantel saying that a lot of overextension, a lot of things that you overstay your area, or probably that you rush too much to a point that you want to get those kills, and in the end it falters to the side of Team Liquid itself. Team Liquid was just too much of trying to push on to get those hero stacks, but at the same time it's giving Terra Queens that opportunity to actually punish them for those mistakes.
Now, looking at the emblems, I actually want to focus on Sakoshi's emblem set because you have the Mystery Shop on an Irithel. Again, we've talked about having an edge over the other gold laner. So this is the change, I think, that Terra Queens did so that she is able to get those items as early as possible as compared to Clock.
Looking at Ramichi as well, she went for agility instead of real rupture, any kind of damage. She went for movement speed. And honestly, this is something that Mirko brought up as well. If we're looking at the junglers here, Yi Sun-shin, one of the top junglers of the meta right now, and then picking up the Joy, which is still strong, but nowhere near the level of a Yi Sun-shin at this point. So even I was slightly confused. I thought maybe it's just comfort, but I don't know, she didn't even look all that comfortable.
No, I think, again, this is what we see from Team Liquid. They are comfortable with their hero picks. It's just that, again, comfort doesn't mean that you're going to be successful, right? Because, again, draft-wise, you can be as confident as you are using the same heroes that you've been using for the past few years or even few months or even throughout the group stage itself. But then again, now coming into the metas, this is where the fine line that you really have to prioritize the top heroes.
And speaking of prioritizing heroes also, I think one priority that the Terra Queens had an edge against TLPH, which was actually forcing team fights on the turtle lanes, as we could see also on some of the highlights, because they know that in terms of turtle dances and even lore dances, Team Liquid also has the upper hand on that area.
Personally for me as well, I kind of feel like for Terra Queens, the shot calling is pretty easy, which is if you're able to take down Claw, everything else is not really that big of a problem, right? Because you're able to handle the Kimi, you're able to handle the Joy, and even though the Uranus is annoying, yes, but eventually will go down as well. So, I don't know, at this point, Claw looks amazing, but what about the rest?
I think also because of, let's say, somehow some of the players of TLPH doesn't really stand out on that game. I think Kla is forced to do things that she thinks might be good for the team. That's why there's an overextension at 7 minutes of the game. And it puts a lot of pressure in a gold laner. So I think that's one thing that made TLPH falter in that game.
Yeah, and speaking of which, we're going to look at that head-to-head here between the gold laners because, again, Claude did amazing, but still, not enough.
not enough indeed. I mean, look at that. The statistics was, yes, she managed to actually probably monitors or actually dominates on the side of jungle creeps or even turrets and kills. Again, pushing forwards on those motion where you want to get the kills, but then again, you're opening yourself up or actually exposing yourself for the team of Terror Queens to get you very quickly.
Yep. Something to note is that the gold distribution, it does look like for Skoshi, most of the gold did come from the objectives, which is namely the turtle, but everything else, it is on Claw. So it does look like Claw has good range of motion, actually getting a lot of gold in this game. But I kind of want to go back to what Chantal said during the draft, which is you have a Kimi, you really want a strong front line so that she can free hit. In this matchup, it's not really like a very good front line because even the Uranus, you kind of want to go in, out, you want to regen, try to fight, and but now you just want a big setup, right? It's not like a Fredrin, it's not like a Boxia, right?
Yeah, that's true. And the idea of having Kimi is like you will go for a slow push, right? When doing objectives or doing a team fight. And I gotta say, for Cool, early parts of the game, she did the exemplary with those unbreakables, even forcing majority of the TLPH to back away whenever there is a threat from the AOG. So there's a lot of space actually for Terror Queens to set up the pace, but at the same time, if you go back to that gold distribution for the gold laners for TLPH, it's because they were able to stretch it out. But you have 3 objectives on the turtle, means early game it was Sikoshi that has the upper hand, hence highest damage per minute also for this game. And the damage taken per minute for a team that actually lost the game means that there wasn't really an efficient skirmish or team fight for Team Liquid Philippines.
Oh, I agree, definitely. I mean, like, you definitely want to be the front line. You were the one who actually put out a really good stun for the frontliners, and this is what Daiki was trying to do, right? But then again, it was not enough because late follow-up coming in from the rest of the team, and you even talked about it, Rafael, when the fact is, yeah, you got Gla trying to do their best, trying to do her best, trying to actually get a lot of those kills, but very late follow-up, especially Ramichi getting on the last minute when most of the players are already down.
Now I actually want to focus on Terror Queens, especially their mid trio, because Rui is able to secure all those lords, but we also got to talk about Ku and Luna Lin. Their zoning is very good, even from the early game. We saw Zetian actually pushing people away from the wave. So yeah, this mid trio is causing problems for Team Liquid.
Yeah, I think there was a point in the game, early games, that you have this little HP for Zaishi at the middle lane, but because she needs to clear that minion wave, she needs to be there. So it's just a lot of pressure. Good point on the mid lane. Probably it's something that they could change on the draft.
And we saw Ramichi struggling a little bit. So we actually got a video where hopefully if she's watching, will reignite her spirit for this best of 5.
Congratulations, Ramisi!
Excellent job, our beloved Trina. I give all the praises and thanks for bringing you at this point in your journey. Your dreams are coming true. More blessings are coming your way. All the best for Team Liquid PH.
Yes, Palanga. We are proud of you together with Team PH Philippines. It's the way to more and more winnings. And to Ramisi, Trina, our beloved Palanga, we are so proud of you. You make us proud. You are champion in our hearts. I'm proud of you. Enjoy, be humble.
We love you!
Mga pa, thank you sa mga support mo. Andito na kami. Gawin namin best namin. I love you, miss you na. Thank you.
That was a bit too emotional. I was not ready for that. I understand it's all over social media, but even Ramichi herself, she's like, hold it in, don't. There's a camera. But I mean, talk us through. Is like, what are you guys feeling?
Oh, I mean, if you guys are watching from the studio itself, like Chantal is crying. Hold my hand. Oh my God. I mean, yeah, definitely we do feel emotional when we have our parents, our backbones are giving all the supports we need, and even it's far away, yet that feeling of connection, like saying, oh, my mom and my dad is proud of me. So those are the kind of emotions that will always feel like so close to our hearts, you know?
Yeah, and we are all aware of the generation generation gap, right? And
Yeah.
sometimes it's hard to have support.
Like to explain to our parents.
Yeah, it's hard to explain to our parents that
Thank
we
you for
want to
the
push. Thank you for the tissue, sir. It's hard to explain to everyone that esports is a thing, and to have full support from your parents, it's like it could get very emotional.
Yeah.
Very
Very,
emotional.
very, very good job on holding it in. You know, if you guys want me to buy time, you know, you guys can let it out first. You know.
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Alright, I can handle a little bit. And as we're looking at Romichi, you know, I feel like everyone from the Philippines, so own personal friends, family, supporters are hoping for the best for her, because again, like, talk about Team Liquid here, because it's mostly newer players. A lot of players are debuting. Yes, Romichi has been here for a while, but they're debuting. Compared to Terror Queens, they've been here for 3 years now in MWI, and they've never made it this far. Previous years, 8, 10.
Yep.
They haven't even hit top 5, top 4, and now they're minimum top 4. They've won the first game, so they're much closer to actually getting third place. Now we're jumping into the draft here. Team Liquid, first pick, Terror Queens, second pick. Hope the tears are gone now, because now you guys got to break down the draft.
Okay, I mean, focusing back on what is going on right now, right? Team Terror Queens, they already got their momentum already from their first draft. And again, coming in from Team Liquid Philippines, I think pretty much the mistakes that we've already covered from the first draft is that they're a little bit messy with their composition, with their positioning of trying to go in for the team fights. Because we keep on telling that Team Terror Queens itself, they're much more a little bit on micro.
Yep.
They are very micro style gameplay itself. So they know when it comes to objective, they will always push it off. Especially the fact that Team Liquid, they were so much pushing on the micro fights, and we did saw on the bottom lane where they were, I think Soju was the one who was trying to chase after Ku so many times, and yet they left Ramichi was just at the mid lane, and 2v1 situation. At the end of it all, Ramichi was just taken down, and you don't want that to happen to your own hyper, to your own jungle itself.
Yeah, I would agree. And I like the point that you've mentioned that somehow the draft was just all over the place for its other teams. But I gotta say, for Terror Queens, they were able to pull that off. And they are actually 7th in terms of unique heroes used in this tournament. And they're able to pull off a GG coded draft earlier. So they can actually adapt and incorporate their strength as a team, or how they play in a draft that was used against them. And that's dangerous for TLPH, because we don't really know what's gonna happen next. And speaking of, for them, they're sticking on the Yi Sun Shin and even Gatot, but Uranus has still been opened for TLPH. And I like that Lafel mentioned earlier that if they are to get a Uranus or Kimmy at the middle lane, since it's still open, then they should get another hero that is on the sustain. So they get the Sityan, which is a good trade, because it's not a great idea to give those 3 heroes again for Terror Queens.
Oh, yeah. I
Maybe
mean,
Granger this early.
oh, yeah, definitely. But then again, this is also giving too much leeway on the Yusunshin YSS. We did see how much of control and how much of damage that was given out by Terror Queens to Team Liquid as well. So I'm looking forward to see what Team Liquid is going to do. But
Great.
I was about to say, like, it's bad that they pick up the Uranus early, because
Yeah.
this honestly is a good Phoveus game. But they're like, hey, Uranus can be a jungler. So that's smart. Because in my head, I was just like, oh, Phoveus. And they picked it up. Hey, I'm liking this.
Yeah, this is actually nice, and I think because of that, for Terror Queens, they might want to consider banning out the Kimi, because with the Kimi, with those 2 heroes, then it's definitely suitable, and they get the Kimi.
oh, wow. Okay, this is crazy. I mean, yeah, pretty much going in from Team Liquid Philippines itself, they have their own sustain. They have their way to actually build up all their momentums from the front side, or even from the early games, because we see how it was from the first draft. They were a little bit more dependent on the mid game, because they want to make sure that the late game, they have the most intensity to be surviving, to be sustaining the longest, but it doesn't actually secure them the win, because again, Team Terror Queens, they provided so much damage to the point they couldn't do anything.
Yeah, that's true. I think at this point for Team Liquid bans out another marksman here. I was thinking if they might want to ban Badang as a added layer actually for Terra Queens in terms of crowd control. So with Gatot up their sleeves, Badang is great, even Lapo is great. I mean, they used it earlier in game number 1.
Honestly, very good idea on the carry band because right now for Terra Queens, they need someone to shred the front line. And looking at the lineup, they don't really have a lot of shred at this point. Betting up the Irritail as well as Moskov kind of shows to me that they might want to go for that Granger, taking out all the counters. So it will be interesting to see if they can really pull it off because without any shred for the front line, it might get difficult.
Oh, definitely. But then again, I feel like this is where the fun begins for Team Terra Queens, right? Because they've already have so much damage, and then if they add it even more for their goal laner, this is going to give even more tougher situation for Team Liquid as well. Chantel, any thoughts on the last ban itself?
I was thinking actually to ban another marksman hero. I'm not sure if it's gonna be Bruno or Export actually for true damage. This is actually nice for Terra Queens if they get it, but it's gonna be 1-1. Okay, 1-1 for them. Since you don't really want to have a slot in your equipment just for the Winter Truncheon if you're a Phobius and even for Uranus. So, yep, we have the Granger this time around for Terra Queens. Now this opens up the idea for Badang and Lapu-Lapu for Terra Queens. Now for TLPH, you have Uranus as a jungle. You need a roam.
Yeah. Personally, for me, if Team Liquid doesn't have the proper damage profile, there's a lot of good EXP laners for Terra Queens here. I'm even thinking of something like the glue, because then it's like, you just won't have enough damage to deal with that. So I don't know. Personally, for me, I kind of feel like Terra Queens, they already got a very good start on the draft.
Oh, they are. They definitely reading really good on the drafting wise of Team Liquid itself. Again, they have all the burst damage. They have all the damage they need to actually pull through. And again, we talked about how Granger is one of the really good picks coming in from Terra Queens itself. But Team Liquid picking up Matilda as well as a Wraith.
If they pick up something like a glue, I don't think Team Liquid has enough. Yeah, there you go. Almost like I've been doing this for years now. Any final thoughts?
I think in terms of easier execution, definitely it's going to be Terra Queen's side because if you're Matilda, you have to consider, is it advisable for me to dive against 3 marksman heroes?
Thank you very much, Chantel, as well as Pasha, Bunny. Personally, I really like Terra Queen's draft, but hey, maybe it's different for our casters. So, Athena and Mirko, get ready for game 2.
Thank you so much, panel. I do agree with the draft. Quite a bit of surprise there for TLPH, but for Terra Queens, I'm liking that most of the time it's much more easy to execute, right? But let's head on over to our game number 2. Welcome to the Land of Dawn for the battle third between Terra Queens versus TLPH.
Let's get right into it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not too big of a fan of the Uranus jungle, personally.
Yeah.
I like the fact that they utilized it as flex, but then they showed it a bit too early, like the flex pick.
Yeah.
There were so many marksmen available, yet they went for the Phobius. I understand why you want to go for the Phobius, but I think, like, especially in this series, we haven't really seen it contested, not even in game 1.
Yeah.
I wonder why it was so prior for them to get it in first phase. Why did they utilize the Uranus flex a bit longer, you know?
It's like, we understand, but still kind of a scenario, right?
Yeah.
For TLPH, I do agree with the casters that for the first up, yes, it doesn't mean comfort equals win. You also have to think out your execution. A bit too messy to my liking for the macro, especially on the objectives earlier. And with the adjustment onto the draft as well, as we mentioned, even if it isn't the comfort, but you have to consider the lineup, the matchup. Like, happening right now, Kimi versus Zetian. Definitely a Zetian will be on the downside.
Oh, but we did see the opposite of that in game 1. Luna Lin has just been able to win out the matchup, which she was on the Zetian, she was winning against the Kimi. Now she's on the Kimi and she's winning against Saishi on the Zetian.
Because the jungler right now for TLPH is much too busy to somehow accumulate all that she can, whilst Rui, on the other hand, could just assist Lunalin on the mid lane once she crosses that river, right? So a bit of a different adjustments here. Looking at the emblem builds as well here for the side of TLPH. Some more of a mixture here for the sustainability for Ramisi. And as well as additional movement plus the Rupture here for both the Matilda and Zaishi here. Rome mid wants to be strong enough, but will it be enough versus Terra Queens?
Yeah, Turtle 1 is definitely like super high prio right now for both these teams.
Yeah.
TLPH should have a bit of an edge coming into it. Great Dark Wave landing on Luna Lin. But they let go of the neutral objective. Dying gets mounted, not brought back just yet. Palang gets away here, pops in a spread.
Okay.
And this is not bad. Dark Wave bringing 2 members back. This is going to be the AOG. Cancelled out. AOG again. We'll find it this time around. Not even a trade just yet. It's 1-0. First blood to TLPH.
Yeah, a bit too dragging, as you mentioned. But still, for Turkins, they're having a hard time with this hanky composition. Different approach.
Double and Dark Wave one more time landing on it. Hlang taken very low. One last stomp on it. That's going to be the Circling Eagle to pick up another TL. Early game Turtle 1.
And even if Gla was that far away from her own lane, even if it isn't what we see every day, but as long as it's working for TLPH, they will take it, right? And adjusting to what their lineup really calls for, more on bouncing around the juggling rather, what Luna Lin and Langrina has to offer. And this is the kind of aggression that you're confident just cause Ramisi isn't left vulnerable with this Uranus versus to what she was using for game number 1. A different approach, but more so for TLPH, they're winning on the early.
Yeah. I think early game, I kind of expected TL to have a bit of an edge just because of the Phobius in the XP, and that's what we saw again.
Yeah.
TQ, they did a good job of stopping the first turtle from being taken, from getting blitzed, but then they stayed in the team fight a bit too long. Like, they actually committed into the fight.
Yeah,
they gotta respect Daiki on the Phobius, man, because this is the reason we see Phobius, at least in the group stage, all the way to the initial parts of the knockout stage, prioed all throughout. Phobius is almost a Turtle 1 guarantee.
It is, and actually with the Dark Wave, it really matters the most here for TLPH Daiki, because considering the fact that all she needs is somewhat wait for other members of TQ to get close enough and to top those Infernal Pursuits, plus she has this ability to somewhat deny being the Terror, the Terror Queens. Oh, deserves right now purple buff being contested.
A bit too late there for Rui to go for it. Nothing to poke over. Rui and Ku getting stunned. The Dark Wave landing. Perfect setup for the neutral objective. That's going to be spawning in 7 seconds. Both red trees used up. Rui now on the orange buff, but it does seem like TL want to continue to invade. Ku.
They do.
Secures the green camp. AOG locks Zaishi down. Now they're going to go for the damage. Luna Lin doing damage over to Zaishi. Picks up the kill, but now gets caught by the Zaman Force. Claw jumping in with the Kodo Dash. That's a Circling Eagle over. But the Mountain Shocker catches Claw. Stops her in the tracks. Palang still able to evade. Ramisi doing some damage. Jumping back in again as Luna Lin tries to melt her down, but she's a bit too tanky. Rui, caught in the Dark Wave, has to trace us backwards. That's Halang walking up with the spread, and that's about it. TL will get a free neutral objective.
Very nice front laners here for TLPH, and huge advantage to Kla, even if she was caught off guard there with a Mountain Shocker. But as long as she survives, as long as she manages to dash out, TLPH might also try and get more of the damage and numbers here for game number 2. And looking about on the long-term adjustment here for TLPH, on the extended T-Fights, yes, they do win, but they also have to take cautious and take precautions onto what Rui is doing. Because right now, even if that is just a 0-0-0 onto her KDA, but still, if she is still continuously farming, she is a nightmare to recon with if you are TLPH.
Terror Queens, it just comes down to them farming now. It's kind of strange to see Terror Queens losing the early game. Massive Dark Wave from Daiki to catch them and to just open up some vision. Rumisi, despite being on a Uranus, is still split pushing. Like, the utility jungle, still playing like an assassin. No worries here. And it's good. Because Uranus is kind of a hero, a utility hero that can do that.
Yeah, and she could actually be somewhat kind of independent, which is what we're talking about earlier, even on the panel. That most of the time, she just needs to do her job, being left alone, but she needs that extra survivability as long as she doesn't give the numbers here for TQ. Sikoshi being cornered.
Soju able to flicker out now. Zaman Force with the dashes. Ramisi able to pick up the kill. Claw though. A bit of miscoordination there. No one's up to tank it up. Taiki? Jumps in, gets isolated. Daiki might just fall here.
Oops.
Gets away with the help of the guiding wind. Luckily, they've got that Mathilda. AOG locks her down though, and it's gonna be the slam spread into the taunt. Still Daiki with a dark wave, dealing a lot of damage, sustaining through, but it will be Luna Lin to pick up a kill, and Ramisi gets brought back with the guiding wind to safety, but the lead is slowly but surely disappearing. Luna Lin, another immobilization.
TQ slowly catching up to the face here for TLPH, and we're right. By Cloud being left behind, we do understand what Daiki was doing, just keeping Rui out of the clash that they were attempting to do. But leaving your gold laner defenseless is a bit of a question mark here for TLPH. And now TQ, with that solo takedown, is able to finally turn the Titan to their favor. It's going to be the Dark Wave. A bit of a mission here for TL.
Big plays, Daiki. Jumps into the back now. Skoshi kiting back. Rui, way too aggressive. Gets punished for overextending. Lang stunned up, has the mount, but it will still be a kill. Soju is the one to pick up the kill. TL are back on track.
They're both the kind of team that if they see an error, they quickly punish that, right? But Saishi caught here.
Yeah, they're just throwing bullets down. AOG locks him in the front. CLA pops in as a man force, but is unable to get more. Just the got the gotcha. All G.
Yeah. And for TLPH, that was a very close call there for Kla as well. But looking at our SMB goal difference, most of it doesn't really have that huge gap as well, because Terra Queens actually managed to somehow negate what TLPH has to offer on the early phasing of the game. And as we mentioned, we are not used to seeing Terra Queens being the one onto the downside, onto the early phasing, right? They get most of their clashes, they get most of their ganks as well, but that isn't happening right now because of the adjustment here for TLPH. And looking at our instant replay, you have a nice catch here for Lunalin and Langrina, but when Kla is able to move freely, Kla isn't being held back. TLPH actually doing a great job with the damage as well. Onto the mid lane. Here onto our instant replay as well. A very nice call here by Ku with the AOG, but still, there's a problem. Kla is left to just go and dance around them.
Daiki. It's a two-man dark wave there, but is going to be chain CC down. Has to flicker out, but gets mounted, brought back to the team, and it will be Luna Lin to pick up the kill now with the Mountain Chakra, locking Ramisi down. The guiding wind grants her a second life by getting her away. Purple buff secured by Ramisi, mid lane Prio. It's up to it's Terra Queens.
Virtus is just sick of TLPH just setting each and every ground where they should clash, right? They're like, oh well, we should just start off with a very aggressive note here. Lord being taken down.
Yeah, this is big. Lang goes in. That's a traction pulse too. A full lockdown, but the AOG didn't land. Ramisi brought back to the team by the slam, and Luna Lin goes for the laser shot. Sakoshi secures the neutral objective. Claw getting gunned down by Luna Lin. Gets caught in the dark wave and will be punished for it. But no, she has to flicker out. Lang able to peel away. Now in front of pursuit. One more time over to Lang. But Terra Queens know they've got the win already. They got a Lord to play with. Sakoshi.
They did.
All alone in the mid lane, deciding to stay there. Flickers out, but Ramisi punishes her for overextending.
I was just about to commend TQ here onto their Lord take, but a bit too messy, a bit too oversaying.
Cool.
Mid lane.
Now Revitalize goes in, sustains interaction pulse, doesn't bring anyone back. Claw picks up a kill. The Lords of Terra Queens, but the win to Liquid.
I was about to say that TQ did a great job onto zoning up members of TLPH and getting the Lord, plus interrupting that messy initiations here for TLPH. But that just isn't happening. But what's happening right now, Ramisi finally being taken down here by Lunalin and Rui. Bit of a hefty bounty there, Mirko, and as well for CQ. They still get most of the advantage onto the overall macro. But what they don't notice is that there are some glimpses of lapses here onto Sakoshi's position, right? You don't want to give those kills onto TLPH just so they could come back from this deficit.
I don't know, man. Like, TQ had the Lord. They had what's going on?
They really did.
Okay, but why was Sakoshi so far off and so far alone?
She was too hyped up to actually pour down the turret, right? I do agree that they could have just slowly backed away, waited for the Lord to march onto the top lane. And so far, looking at the flame shot as well here for...
We got a description of Flame Shot.
Yeah. Good to know. Thank you for the refresher. But here for TLPH needs a refresher on what do they really want to accomplish. A bit too messy here onto what they want. Is it the objective? Is it the kills? Or do you just want to waste the resources here for Luna Lin? They chase it down!
Circling Eagle, locking her down now. Lang walks up, trying to peel away. Has that Flame Shot. Maybe could use it just to peel with the Dark Wave lands on Luna Lin! And that's Daiki with a shutdown. Still Sakoshi gunning him down from the back with Rhapsody, but Ramisi body blocks all of it. And now Lang is all alone. Daiki goes in with the jump. Ku, for some reason, jumps in with the AOG and will be taken now slowly but surely. That's a slow takedown. Mountain Shocker over. Rui decides to jump in. Daiki just goes and shoulder bashes her over. Now the rest of TL here. Rui gets a shutdown somehow against 5. But it ends up being TL with a massive win.
3-4-1 and TLPH definitely won the round. They managed to somehow trick Terra Queens onto using the AOG, who, in my opinion, didn't have to actually put her life on the lane. But Ramisi, on the other hand, focusing onto the Lord. Daiki dodging up the damage from Langrina.
That's a red tree from Ramisi, securing it, but a mount down over Luna Lin and Sakoshi. Bursting through the front line.
We're getting multiple kills at hand here. Earlier on, we were saying this is kind of a slow game, but TQ, they don't think Sakoshi will be some kind of enough there. So Luna Lin to the rescue as well. Chase down here for TLPH.
It's a pure brawl. Whoa, what is that damage, Luna Lin? Almost one-shotting Kla. You know, Athena, there's been so much action, but why don't you touch on the Flame Shot?
But more so, it's more on Langrina. Just giving most of the damage and then just finishing off with somehow adjusting onto the members here for TLP. She just wants to show them back. She just wants to buy some enough time, and even if the damage just isn't enough, the Flame Shot is there to actually finish off the round or finish off the HP bars here for TLPH. And looking at the way things are going here on their in-game equipment as well, but before all of that, something might happen. Something might happen here. It's going to be the Traction Pulse.
The Traction Pulse over. Lang jumps in, mounts Daiki up, unable to get the spread to bring Daiki back, but TQ are very close by. Oh no.
Okay.
She's all alone right now. They're actually doing damage towards Lang. And Lang will be taken out there, all alone, isolated. Kla picks up the kill with his Zaman Force. The Flame Shot not helping her there.
There's kind of an adjustment here for Ramisi as being the frontliner, the tankiest one of all here for TLPH, as long as the others stick to their ground. Very strong trio mid here for Zaishi, Soju, and Kla as well. But Fair Queens has some kind of a different read here onto what TLPH is trying to do. So close there onto actually taking down the tier 2 turret onto the mid lane. But still, TLPH, in my opinion, not the cleanest game for them yet. But still, they're managing to do well compared to game number 1. Oopsie. Ramisi.
We've got a lot of damage already. But they gotta respect the damage back from Team Liquid. Zaman Force over. That's, again, the mount up. Purify out. And it will be Lang caught all alone again. Pops in the Flame Shot, actually brings Kla back. Mountain Shocker over from Rui. Lang's all alone again, isolated. Still has a spread as a Traction Pulse lands on Ramisi. Sakoshi trying to land some bullets there. Daiki jumps in and will be able to go for another jump in front of pursuit over. Ramisi with the chase over to Lang. And the Chrono Dash with the Synchro Fission. Kla is enough to take her down. We've got a total of 26 kills in game 2.
In favor of TLPH, but we do have to acknowledge here Langrina doing her best to somehow hand over members of TLPH to their core damage dealers, right? And looking at things are going right now, BOD lock item here for Rui, finally having the last spot here, whilst a Brute Force breastplate here for the glue here for Terra Queens. We just need a bit more onto the sustainability just so she could last longer and deliver a perfect silver platter dish here for TLPH.
Ooh, massive damage with a Traction Pulse, but Daiki turns it around with in front of pursuit. No! Rui, Sky Piercer, shoots her down while she's on air. Sakoshi throws out the shots, able to go and thread the needle to get the immortality of Soju. But that's about it. 1-0 right now. TQ looking to push their advantage.
Okay, missing one frontliner here. Cla really needs to be careful. But the Pure Cry will be off for use later on. But Ramisa onto the front. Langlina putting her life on the lane. There's the Lord still alive. Ramisi!
Fraction Pulse over. Purify already used up. Ku gonna be taken down as that's gonna be a solo, it seems. Lang still on her. Rui wins out the red tree battle. Claw pops in as on forces. That's gonna be the runaway from Rui. Lang all alone. Has a spread. Now dealing with the damage of Claw. Can she escape? The guiding wind brings Claw forward to pick up an unstoppable. TQ get the Lord. TL win the team fight.
And this is what we're talking about. Never underestimate the Zetian pick as well. That most people tend to say that she doesn't have enough damage. Yes, they do. They layer it properly, and that's why it's working here for TLPH. Even with Club being shoved way back onto their back line, say for TLPH, they find a way. They fought a way here just to try and tore down members here, the frontliners for Terra Queens, and also did a great job onto destroying Lunalin with her Kimi.
12-19, but TQ are the ones with a gold lead at this point of the game. In-game equipment check. Rose Gold Meteor for Sakoshi. We get an instant replay as well to see what happened in that fight earlier.
Yeah, and this is what they're talking about, missing out most of the clashes that they were trying to accomplish. But still, we cannot deny that that was still an objective taken here by TQ. That's where most of the gap as well is coming from here. Still an established lead. If the coaches as well is like, what's happening? Right, you're winning the team, you're winning onto the kill score, but onto objectives, you're just missing out a lot.
Which is uncharacteristic for TLPH. We expect TLPH to be the ones winning on objectives and TQ to be the ones winning team fights, but it's been the opposite so far. Turret down below, taken very low. That's a circling eagle to the back. Oh, massive stun! Lunalin able to flick her out, but it's in front of Pursuit to chase her down. Sakoshi will not be able to survive the AOG. Continues to chase onto TQ, and you can hear the crowd here in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh, as Rui tries to kite away, but Ramisi is a bit too strong. Now with the guiding wind, bringing Daiki in, there's no chance for Rui to escape.
Very nice initiation there for TLPH. And right now on real time, we were expecting a different kind of play, more on the macro-centered play for TLPH, but with the adjustment as well, it's working. They're coming in hot, unexpected plays here for TLPH. They're way over here onto the base of TQ.
Soju should be dead here. The glowing wand proc on her. Flame shot too. There you go. Finally getting the value out of the flame shot. They saved the game now. Are they going to go for the chase onto Lang? AOG might punish them. That's a massive traction pause. Lunalin gets a shot at Kla. Now tries to kite away. Daiki doing a whole lot, but gets gunned down in the air again. TQ punish an overextending Liquid.
And this is what we're talking about, that once they see an error, it never misses out on their eye. They make sure that they punish them as fast as possible, and now they actually have the chance to throw down another inhibitor turret. Ramisi might fall down.
Uh-oh, Ramisi brought back again. One Sky Piercer is all they need, and it will be Rui to walk down the mountain shocker to land on Zaishi. 2-0 match point for the Terror Queens.
The terror still lingers here as Terror Queens manages to snatch off another game against TLPH. One more win away to finally bag that podium finish, that life-changing prize of 50K USD. But let's head on over onto our panel to break down game number 2.
Flame shot.
Thank you very much. And yes, flame shot. Thank you very much, Mirko, as well as Athena. That was a very interesting game where I really feel like for both teams, honestly, don't get hyped, calm down, and stick back to your game plan, because honestly, like spells, items, movements around the map, priorities, how they team fight, I kind of feel like they gotta calm down a little bit and optimize all of those things.
Yeah, I would agree. I believe that all throughout the game, their thoughts are like all over the place, even during initiation, who to target, and it was very evident on the TLPH side on that the last skirmish. Yes, there were a lot of nice initiations, but some moments they want to do more of what they can do at that current situation, and for the Terror Queens, it's just their hero composition has already the items. They have enough damage. They have the damage per second also to counter out Ramisi. And yes, it's just them winning that game we're in. It was, the situation was on their side. Even though if they won't be able to finish that game, they will still get the lure just in case.
I mean, this is what we're talking about. When it comes to Terra Queens, TQ will always prioritize on those objectives that they need to actually fulfill. Because again, whenever Team Liquid try to go out for the push or the rush of the team fight itself, yes, they win. But objective-wise, it's all been conquered by Terra Queens. Lots been taken away very easily, also with the turtle as well. And the fact that no matter how much they lose a little bit of the team fights, even though it's a little bit messy, yet Terra Queens has it done to take down all the inhibitor turrets.
I feel like if we really want to talk about some mistakes that the teams made, there were a lot where I kind of feel like just to paint an overall picture is that they're playing for the highlight plays instead of going for the team plays. You know, like even though Terra Queens won, yes, but there were times where Rui overextended trying to get a kill, but it really wasn't worth it. And I kind of feel like now we gotta talk about the elephant in the room. That flame shot, for sure was a mistake, right? and it happens, folks. It happens because when you're on stage, there's so much for you to think about: your items, your spells, your emblems, what your coach is saying and stuff. It happens, right? Because I kind of feel like the optimum choice is the flicker. I can still understand if it's like a vengeance or a revitalize, right? But also, I would question about that glowing wand. But I think it's the analyst's job to do that.
Yeah, some parts of the game we actually saw the damage from the glowing wand, but it's kind of crucial knowing that early game is actually Team Liquid winning the moments of the game. So yeah, for that, kind of questionable, but at the same time, it came to a point that the hero composition of Team Liquid was way past its purpose. I mean, sustain heroes early game, Uranus is great, but having YSS, Kimi, and even Granger late game up against a Uranus, then that's the story of the game.
Oh, agreed, definitely. I mean, talking about how it was really phenomenal for Team Liquid to actually prolong this game itself. The sustainability is very, very good. I mean, Fovius White, that's the reason why they have the Fovius, right? They were able to actually turn things around a little bit for themselves. But the question is, the moment for that last fight itself, where we saw that there was a little bit of miracle, sparks itself that to a point that maybe Team Liquid will be able to actually take away that one win for themselves, but ended up because they're overextended themselves into that jungle. That I gotta give a credit to Ku though. That AOG was just right on time to capture those 3 players of Team Liquid, and everything just goes back to Terra Queens like it's supposed to be.
Yeah, personally for me, my opinion is that as they were about to end the game, you can see a little bit of desperation there, where I kind of feel like they could have just waited out a little bit, managed the waves, and do it very cleanly, right? Because I really feel like in their head, it's now or never. And we saw that it got heavily punished. So I kind of feel like that's why I want to say, like, maybe just calm down a little bit, you know? Because yes, you want to win for sure. But there are moments where you kind of have to slow down a bit.
Was that the part wherein they were actually trying to finish the game and then they saw the glue and then they forced a kill against the glue, and the timers for the players of Terra Queens was almost close that TQ actually won that skirmish. And if you compare the damage per second that you can deal on a Harith with a Harith against the sustain of a glue, then it was a lot harder for TLPH to actually secure kills for every team fight. So yeah, that was the story of the game. They just really need to calm down because that was the opportunity was there. It was whole lots of battle of attrition for both, but at the end of the game, whoever team has better damage per second actually wins the match.
Honestly, I do agree with you. But now for you folks at home, just to remind you guys that this is the 3rd place match. Later on, we will be having the grand finals. And later on, we'll have MSC going on as well. So just to make sure that you guys still remember, MSC will be coming up after MWI. MWI is still free entrance, but MSC, you got to pay for that one. But still, looking forward to see you guys there. And now going back into the game, like we talked about how, you know, they got to calm themselves down. Is there anything that you see that maybe Team Liquid could have done as well to make sure that you know, their head is okay going to game number 3 because right now every single game is a best of 1.
Oh, agree, definitely. I mean, like, leading up already for Team Terror Queens, they're already comfortable on their own. Even though, yeah, there was a little bit of minor mistakes that was done by Terror Queens as well. Team Liquid, I think I agree on the notes of Mirko itself. They were actually a bit too rushing on giving opportunity or exposing their draft itself to a point that Team Terror Queens was able to read it out. And this is where the fine line that can you actually slow things down a bit and try to figure out like what is the best way to actually have the best counter attack, especially with Matilda as well as Harry to be picked out. That could be a little bit of rushed out opinion or choices to be made on the last pick.
I kind of feel like maybe the Harif could have been picked with something else, but now we got to look at the head-to-head for the jungle because honestly, I kind of feel like both junglers had their highs and their lows as well. We're looking at Romichi as well as Rui. You know, a lot is going over to Rui, but we do have to say that it's different kind of junglers. One is a tank, one is an assassin.
Yeah, so we could see here that there's a huge difference in terms of average damage per minute. So again, that is because you have a physical that really deals damage against the rest of the players, but it goes to show that for TLPH, the strength of their lineup is actually having 5 players available. So that was the story of the early parts of the game, and then they gave out space actually, if I'm not mistaken, gave out space for both Rui and Sikoshi on the bottom lane just to go for the farm. And then at some point, this is where we said that there's kind of a deplete in terms of the effectivity of the hero composition. Again, with the Rui having enough items, the damage per second that they can give. Yes, I am literally reiterating on the damage per second because definitely it's just a big deal on that game because latter portions of the game, they were literally depending on class damage, and they doubled down on magic damage actually. No physical damager from TLPH.
I mean, let's just make it very simple. Over 20 minutes, 3 marksmans.
Yep.
I kind of feel like over 20 minutes, 3 marksmen will out-damage whatever composition that you have.
Oh, definitely. And the fact that you give so much of leeway to Sikoshi, right, to a point that she could actually just dominate throughout the whole entire team fight itself. And again, we keep on saying that Team Liquid keep on rushing on those team fights, and they even try to actually probably zone out some of the players of Team Terror Queens, but it wasn't enough because at the end of it all, they were being punished because of the overt sections.
Shabani, I have a very simple question for you. Do you think it would actually be beneficial? By the way, shout out to Luna Lin, highest damage. Do you think it's beneficial for Team Liquid just to do something simple?
Yeah.
Because I feel like game number 2, that was a little bit too much 3D chess on that one.
Yeah, agree. I definitely agree on that notion because again, Team Liquid Philippine, I think they're pretty much prioritized on all the damage. They want to actually go all out, pushing further and offended all their opponents' positioning to a point that they forget. You need to actually win those micro things. You have to win those objectives first of all so that you can have a better upper hand compared to Terror Queens. Yes, they're a little bit messy, but yet they always have their focus straight away to say like, if we lose team fights, at least make sure that we push a little bit of that turrets. At least we get those into the baseline itself.
Yeah, I would agree. I think for the rest of the games, even from yesterday for TLPH, they changed a lot in terms of the drafting. I mean, doubling down in magic damage for that previous game. All 5 heroes are magic damagers. So if you're Terror Queens, just build a blade armor, Athena shield, and you're good with it. So yeah, for TLPH, do something basic. Have heroes for Ramisi that she is actually comfortable with. And of course, do not forget the supporting heroes as well because they've been playing really well individually. But at some point in the game, if the heroes aren't really meant to counter the heroes of Terror Queens, then it's gonna be hard for them.
Yeah, personally for me, I feel like when you're in this kind of situation, you just have to be honest with yourself that Claw is an amazing player. She is definitely the carry.
Definitely.
But she can't do it by herself at this point because I kind of feel like a very, very high level competition, if you put all your eggs in one basket, it's very honest. Your opponents know how to deal with it. So you gotta spread out a little bit, you know, like let your mid be the carry or your jungle be the carry. And I kind of feel like that's one of the reasons why in the MWI, the assassins have been shining a little bit more because if everyone is focusing on the gold laner, all of a sudden the assassin is that too. And if everyone is going for the jungle, tackling the assassins, all of a sudden the gold laner, shines. And if both is taken out, still got the mid. And that's what we saw from Terra Queens. Yisun Shin, damage. The Granger, damage. Kimi, damage. Who do you focus on, right?
Yeah.
Oh, this is so hard. Definitely, there's a lot of things to be prioritized when it comes to trying to be sustaining all the frontliners itself when it comes to Team Liquid itself, because that's the reason why they pick out the Uranus as well as the team with the Phobias as well. I look at that. Team Liquid still having a lot of these supports coming in from the audience as well, and hoping that their morals is not going down because of having that deficit of points compared to how Terra Queens are already dominating two games of themselves.
Hey, you know what? Shout out to all the Team Liquid fans. You guys are amazing, and they definitely need the support, because let's remind ourselves, this is for Club Championship point, and Team Liquid is one of the favorites to actually win this year. So, a lot on the line here, and if they want to do it, they got to do it in the reverse sweep. But I got to say, if you're winning third place with the reverse sweep, that's sweet, man. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's also a statement already that regardless of the pressure that they get, they can still cope up and actually adjust. And speaking of adjustment, I kind of feel like for your TLPH, the rotation is there, the execution is there. They just need to equalize or balance things out. Not too much on the diving heroes, not too much on the sustain heroes, but rather have, okay, we have the burst damager, let's have, for the late game, let's have someone up front, does the crowd control, check, and you have a complete checklist of the things you need to do.
Yep, cakes are amazing, but you can't have 10 cakes at once. Right? You need other profiles of flavor. Speaking of which, it looks like the draft has started. The players are going on with it. First for me, I just want something simple from Team Liquid. Don't overcomplicate it.
I think pretty much right now they have so much of prioritized ban they've done so far that actually kind of, not to say small size of their own hero pools themselves. So this is where the fine line that say like who they want to actually prioritize ban when it comes to making sure that they also have that opportunity as well, right? Because again, they have so much respect ban to the Terra Queens to a point they also have lost touch on their own focus of their own heroes itself, that they have strength. So again, we are seeing like Hilda been banned off, Baxia been banned off. Now we're seeing Zetian also been taken off from the list, as well as Farsa. And I think at that point in time, we are hoping that Farsa was open up at least for the opportunity of Team Liquid, because again, their mid lane control was a little bit too messy that they couldn't actually hold out so much of their positioning compared to how they keep on depending on gold lane.
Yeah, good point. Now the question is, will they give out Yisun Shin again or get the Yisun Shin this time around? Because Terra Queens has been playing really well with the Yisun Shin since they won't be able to get the Setyan right now. So the trade is going to be Gatot again, but I don't think it's an option for Terra Queens if the Yisun Shin won't be available, but rather take Badang instead. So yep, that's the biggest question. Are they going to take Yisun Shin or are they going to take Badang? It's going to be Yisun Shin. They have the damage now, better rotation probably, or damage output from Ramisi.
Yeehaw!
I mean, they should have done this on the second draft as well, because again, not taking Yisun Shin from Terra Queens was actually a little mistake from the start of the drafting as well, because you've given so much damage to Terra Queens, and you know for a fact that if they actually add up with more of the hero sustain, this is going to be tough for Team Liquid. But great job, finally they realize that they need to break that pattern of the mistake they've done for the two games itself.
Now, I was thinking maybe for Terra Queens, this is their opportunity to get, okay, they got the Uranus. I think they might get Lancelot also, since they've been playing it well, just for the sake of having a hero to actually dive against class hero if they are to take the Granger or something like that. But I think Phobius is still a good idea for TLPH. Just for the stage, Jushin, for control. So it's more of the tempo now for TLPH. This is a hero that will, okay, let's calm down. Let's calm down.
And I feel like for the next pick for Terra Queens, they gotta pick their poison. Pick up the Hayabusa or Lancelot quick, because you know that TL will definitely ban that out. And now the Gatakacha as well as the Jushin. You guys mentioned it earlier, the Gatakacha was gonna get taken away. and now the Jushin. So there's already a lot of control, but I'm okay with this because at least their jungler does have damage.
Oh, agreed, definitely. I think the fact that Team Liquid now finally have the damage as well as they have their frontliners, and they know for a fact that whatever it is, they can slow things down for the movement of Terror Queens, and this is what they were missing a little bit from their drafting previously. But again, we do see that Terror Queens, they said that if it's not broken, why fix it? Just keep it up with what we have already had. Granger picking up as well as with the rest of their second or third drafting of the choices they've made with Kimi as well as Uranus.
Personally, because they pick up the Granger, I'm really thinking Rui is telling the team is like, if Lancelot's open, I'll take that. If Hayabusa's open, I'll take that. If none of them are open, hey, I still got a Ling and a Joy.
Yeah, they really have a lot of options in terms of the jungle area. And at the same time, since all of the games so far have been very long, hence the confidence on taking scaling heroes like Granger, things like that, since they're already covered in terms of the early game with the Uranus and Kimi. So yep, with the Lancelot or any assassin hero would work well on Terror Queen's hero composition. So for TLPH, they ban out heroes like Badang. Could be Lapu Lapu actually. For the team, could be a Hylos even as a ban. But for Terror Queens, they could ban out Moskov, they could ban out Bruno, same as to what they did on game number 2. Yeah, just to force Kala to use the Harith again or any other hero, just not the hero that has the potential to go for a split push.
Oh, and CC been taken out by Terror Queens. Okay, interesting.
Interesting, out of the blue.
Yeah, out of the blue. Do you think that there's a reason for that, Lafel?
A few things, because gaming gladiators have shown this CC and Gatot combo when the current claw is being used. You can't run away from the AOG, so that's one. Number 2, I think there's a lot of junglers, something like a Joy, really don't like that current call, because say you tie up the Joy and the Uranus, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait, what are you supposed to do? So honestly, like, yeah, I get it a little bit out of the blue, but I can see the reasoning, right? You don't want that combo with the Gatot, and this might be a pick just to protect your jungler.
Yeah, true. I'm thinking now. I think for Terror Queens, they're going for the Hayabusa. Just because they gave out the Moskov for TLPH, there's a high chance. And the Minotaur has been banned for TLPH, so you need a strong front runner also for Terror Queens. We've mentioned about the Lapu Lapu. Khalid also can be an option against Yi Sun Shin. But in terms of ability, could be in par with the control of Jushin. Yeah, Khalid could be an option.
Khalid definitely is one of the options that is viable right now for Terror Queens. Oh, but yeah, I was about to say that actually.
Oh, Carmilla!
But Camilla.
Hey, if you want to play macro, play team fight, dude, that could be terrorizing.
And you know what? This is actually a TQ specialty. They've been playing Carmilla a lot, even against
GG as well. Even though
during the last
loss,
game. Yeah. I'm just not sure if no. They won't take another marksman here. So Moskov has been picked here by a TLPH. What is they still lacking? They're still lacking their EXP laner, since I'm assuming that Gatot is gonna be their roam EXP. It's gonna be the Lapu. For them, Hayabusa, Lancelot,
Joy, if they want to go for Joy, because they're also very comfortable. But yeah, Hayabusa will be the first pick.
Yeah, so right now the picks have been done. This is potentially the final game for Team Liquid. I'm pretty sure with all the fans there, they hope they can extend this, go all the way, 5 games. But either or, it's all up to the players. I think both had a pretty good draft. Now it's all about execution. Thank you very much, Fasha, as well as Chantel. Now I'm going to throw it over to our casters, where again, potentially the last game.
With the score sitting at a 2-0, Terror Queens find themselves just one more game win away to securing their 3rd place here at MWI. Every team fight, every decision matters now. Is it over, or will TAPH rise above and drag this battle onto game number 4? Let's head on over onto game number 3. Mirko and Athena here for our possible final match.
It's do or die for the cavalry. You can hear them already charging in. I mean, hey, they've been louder than the TQ fans in the building today, but TQ have been louder in the game. They've been performing out of their minds.
Yeah.
And for the first time in the series, TLPH have let go of Uranus. TQ pick it up themselves.
Yeah, and especially with the YSS as well, the panel highlighted that TLPH might go for a change of scenery here. This is a do or die, so a lot is at stake here. There's a huge 20k USD difference, Mirko. And you're trying to somehow put yourself onto a podium finish. Both of these queens already has much more good placement compared to their performance last season, right? But looking closer onto what's happening onto the map, very aggressive take here for Terra Queens. Looking at the Carmilla yet again onto their draft.
I don't know. I mean, looking at the emblems here, Master Assassin already picked up for Kla, so he's going to be looking to play for the split pushes for the most part, right? Great Spirit Misery. Cool also going to be caught there. Luna Lin able to escape and vitalize. Used up by Koo. TLPH get it going first. So, first blood.
Yeah, out for blood here. Great start again here for TLPH, but as we mentioned earlier, some things they might be dragging a little too longer, right? And TQ just went ahead, waits for the perfect error to be committed here for TLPH, and they just go for the punish. But looking closer here for TQ, we mentioned that you want to somehow scale up the Granger plus the Kimi as fast as possible. They were able to accomplish that because members here onto the front line is doing a great job on to protecting them. But turtle up for grabs here. Still Langrina onto the front line, just trying to delay things up here for TLPH.
TL are going to play it as slow as they can. There's not really much on the board for them. It's too risky to just go straight for the turtle knowing that there's a Carmilla on the other side. So farming it up with the Yi Sun-shin is the way safer choice. Again, you gotta understand that TQ, despite losing out in the early game, giving over first blood to TL, are still very strong in Turtle 1.
They
Look at
are.
Rui, level 5 on Hayabusa. As I say that, Zaishi might just be dead here. No Flicker, no Crimson Beacon. Rui, oh, the shuriken, she didn't let it go. Zaishi gets away.
Okay, that was a very close call here for TLPH, but still for TQ, they're looking at the bigger picture. Could be a Soju and Daiki attack.
Great AOG, locking her down. Now Luna Lin able to escape. Daiki doing a good job at zoning them. But Ku's just walking up again. Now Sakoshi rotating first from the bottom lane. Kla gonna have to stay position. Oh, Great Spirit Misery to pick Lang down. That's the chain CC over.
TLPH just dragging the team fights longer as they can, right? Just so Kla could finally catch up. But Rui taken out this early. Somewhat of a great start still here for TLPH. Not to overcompensate their previous game as well, but mostly eyeing out on where to polish more. They have the strength, they have a fairly good draft compared to the previous games that we've seen so far. But TQ just is good on the punishing.
Double stun over. Zaishi has the Crimson Beacon, so not in a threat of dying. Never mind, Rui walks up, gets the quad shadow. Oh man, you hate to see it. And TL, I've been speaking to a lot of the analysts behind the scenes as well, and it just feels like TL, in the last two games, it wasn't like they're not good. It wasn't like they weren't winning. They lack the discipline that they had in the group stage and in the early parts of MWI for some reason.
I do agree. It's like a different version of themselves today. This is kind of a big deal, right? Because you're playing up against TQ, and the confidence just isn't there. And Kla, onto the bottom side, being constantly countered here. Lunalin and friends, Rui with that swag. TLPH kind of struggles onto trying to catch up onto TQ.
Slow build up for TQ again. Flying the bottom lane. Doing okay in this matchup against the Granger. Walks up, and it might be a bit too early. Sakoshi.
It is.
Could have been an angle to get a kill there had maybe the Kla let Sakoshi clear and shove it in.
Most of the games were dragging. Like they mentioned, it's taking too long to actually see the climax of what's happening. But at the end of the day, Turquoise is just good at trying to predict when and where to pop off those ultimates right onto TLPH. Meanwhile for TLPH, they're kind of like all over the place. They're trying to accomplish too much that they're forgetting the basic fundamentals on what they should focus more on. Sakoshi and Kla
The solo kill, and that's a step forward. Cloud with a solo kill down below.
Right.
TQ. Now looks to play up top. Rui on the green camp. That's going to be the taunt. She's seeing them. Curse of Blood not landing. Everybody dodging away from it.
Oopsie.
AOG will lock Ku down, and that will be a kill over to Daiki. Killing spree. Luna Lin forced back. The TL are holding this mid game.
A very good start. We're off to a great start actually here for TLPH. Accumulating enough lead. That's a turret this early for Kla. Maybe they already downloaded, but the turtle!
What? Luna Lin, attraction pulse to steal the turtle from out of nowhere. Gives them a bit more time, a bit more space to scale up.
Just when you thought the TLPH already has it in the bag, there goes a plot twist here for Terror Queens. There's going to be lingering feeling that Rui might go in. Langrina being pressed here by Kla.
Oh, the shadow kill over towards the blink. Zaishi still there. Now the bravest fighter, Daiki, you're all alone against 4 members. Will be kited back, and it will be Shikoshi who gets a shutdown. Rui with the quad shadow on Zaishi, forcing to revitalize out of Soju. And it is going to be Hlang rotating to mid. That's a Sky Piercer built up from Shikoshi. The lead gone, attraction pulse, forcing the Crimson Beacon out of Zaishi. Double Curse of Blood, there's Shikoshi walking up. Look at the damage, translating over to Zaishi. A turret and the lead for Liquid is gone, completely out.
This is what we're talking about, that TQ is just good at punishing. AOG follow up, Shikoshi targeted. But still, you cannot deny that TQ was just waiting. It's like they're dangling bait all over Team Liquid's face, and they were like, okay, you might take the lead now, but wait and see what we have to offer. Look at the goal difference we mentioned. That was just eliminated. That was just erased. It's like never Team Liquid off top here onto the early game. We're heading on to a quick pause, but still for TQ, we do have to consider that they have the momentum for Game 1 and Game 2 win.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. The TL, the discipline that we've seen, the discipline that we've kind of known from them, that's part of their character, you know? That's been part of TLPH's identity for such a long time. All the way from the group stage, we were always just talking about how good Liquid are at utilizing the macro, controlling objectives, playing it slow, and getting any lead to snowball to a massive one through that disciplined macro style. Terra Queens, it might just be a case of Terra Queens being able to bait out Team Liquid to play Terra Queens' playstyle.
And somewhat, this is what we're talking about, more so them falling onto the trap fully here for TQ. And as usual, you mentioned time and time again, this isn't the same TLPH we're seeing onto the group stage all over onto the semi-finals. It's like somewhat, is it the pressure finally creeping up onto them? But let's see, there's still enough time. The game isn't finished yet. There's still a best of 5. They could still come before that reverse sweep if you are a supporter for TLPH. But if you are supporting Terra Queens, that is a huge momentum that they're playing around with. No more playing around. Just straight for the fight, straight for the head. One more game win for the 3rd place finish.
Terra Queens are on route. We're scaling up massively. Great traction pulse over Zaichi. Yes, she gets away, but she has to burn Flicker. Now it's going to be chased down from Rui. Walks up. Ramisi already used Retribution, so that's a green line for Terra Queens to go for the neutral objective, and it'll probably just be free.
And even Langrina is free to roam around, destroying outer turrets here against TLPH. And I mentioned no red here for TLPH, a free turtle here for TQ. And Rui just going in onto Daigi. She's alone, forced to back away from that bait yet again for TQ. Low scoring game in my opinion, 8 minutes into the game, 5-3. Kla is doing her job, which is to somehow relieve the pressure onto the top lane. But for TQ, it still feels like they're on top for this game.
They've been playing the better MLBB across the series so far, right? They've just been reacting to Team Liquid's moves, punishing them. Look at that, Daiki. That's a frontliner, by the way, folks, and she's just got melted down by Luna Lin, who's a late game MM in the mid lane. Sakoshi's picking up turrets in the bottom lane, tier 2. This early on, 8 minutes in. No lore just yet, but they might be able to pop in a holy defense later on. AOG finally response from TL to the siege provided as the Bravest Fighter to the back, forcing Luna Lin to flick around. But now Lang walks up all alone. Will be able to escape. Tier 2 traded for the roamer. And it's another one up top. TQ are the ones playing the macro.
Many are saying that the kills doesn't even matter if you're losing onto your turrets, right? The macro. Because at the end of the day, you just have to destroy the crystal. You have to focus on trying to strangle, to somehow dehydrate the team from resources and as well as the freedom to roam around. And TLPH, yes, you've got the numbers onto the kills, but what's happening with the macro? What's happening onto the bigger picture? Because right now, you're seeing that you're still surviving, but it doesn't just mean surviving. You have to fight back. Where's the counter punch against TQ?
I'm hoping for it right now for Team Liquid. This is looking like a sweep. Little things as well just happening here. Soju shooed Hayabusa away, Rui away.
Yeah.
But she still ended up taking the purple buff instead of giving it over to Ramisi. Now it's tough. Mountain Chakra already used up. Sakoshi poking with the Death Sonata, and TQ are just utilizing this range advantage.
Even if it looks like little things right now, what Terra Queens are doing, but little things do add up.
Yeah.
And it might explode later on in the face of Team Liquid. Lord upward grabs. Bit of a struggle here. Zaishi being forced to use the ulti just to get away.
AOG over. That's going to be the Bravest Fighter. Soldier not landing the taunt now. Going to be kited away. Cool! Curse of Blood on 3! Shadow kill. Look at the damage translation. Rui able to get the quad channel on the back and now finds Daiki as well. TQ have leveled the playing field on the scoreboard. Now 6-6. They've been behind in kills, winning in objectives. Hlang is just holding on to that turret up top as well. Holy Defense procced in, but TQ get the win. Luna Lin, that's the team's second Sky Piercer. They're feeling confident.
Yeah, they are. And for Ramisi as well, she could do nothing right now for a YSS. But yes, we do know that the Moscow is supposed to somehow go for the split push. But what's happening right now, just leaving her teammates hanging. They're taking out one by one, and for TQ, they're having fun. There isn't anyone from the side of TLPH holding them back.
TQ are just having fun, like you said. This is another day at the office, or
it is
another day at the playground. TQ, it really just feels like they're in their comfort zone. Every play they make, all the aggressive ones too, have paid off.
Yes.
Meanwhile, for TL, they've been playing a high-risk, high-reward game, but they've just gotten the risks. No rewards so far. Rui, quad channel in, forcing Soldier to utilize that taunt early. Holy Defenses up top will be procced in. Traction pulls, locks them down. That's a good traceless over, but they still have a cannon minion to play with the siege, and another wave comes into the mid lane.
a bloody defense here for Team Liquid, and as we mentioned, it's confusing on what they are trying to accomplish, right? And for TQ, they have this clear vision, they have this clear intent, and the intent is to kill off members one by one here for TLPH and totally annihilate their chances onto the podium finish.
First of blood, that's Sonata landing. Now it's Daiki walking with the Bravest Fighter. Oh! They flicker out of the AOG and the Bravest Fighter. Soju left for dead. Luna Lin gets a Sky Piercer stacks as TQ wants to continue this push to secure third place.
TLPH still fighting to defend for their base, but Terra Queens just might end this round. They have multiple incoming minion waves here. A bit longer onto the timers.
Terra Queens with a wave in the mid lane. Zaishi with a desperate play forward. Quad Shadow landing to the back now. Rui jumping back and forth as Claw looking for the punish and gets the punish. It's a shutdown to get a bit more hope going for TL. A breath of fresh air for the cavalry.
Okay, you can now take a deep breath. If you're a supporter for TLPH, still the game will start right now for them because of that somewhat hefty bounty going on to Kla. But for Terra Queens, much more so, still having most of the resources. And speaking of which, looking at the in-game equipment already with the Wind of Nature here for Satoshi. So even if Kla manages to somehow get closer, she could just pop that off, and a Sky Piercer built. Two double Sky Piercer here for both the mid and the gold laner for Terra Queens. And aside from that, They're proactive also onto building up much more damage here for Rui. Doubling up with a Legion Sword. Might be going for the BOD for the 5th item build here. But still, it's reflecting that Terra Queen still has the upper hand damage-wise, tankiness-wise. And now onto the objective. How will this play out? TLPH 5-man members here.
Curse of Blood didn't land on anyone, and TQ just reset the Lord, knowing they have waves pushing it aside. Daikyu, the Raven Spider, utilizing it, but getting poked down. Red Tree battle now, it's his own in the back. Rui's gonna go for the Red Tree and wins it out. The Shadow Kill over to Zaichi. Lunalin gets the killing spree. Claw able to find the back line. Claw diving in all alone, finding two. Massive shutdown for Claw, now against two. Saving the game for TL. Looking for Hlang as she pops in a Purify and a Consecration.
Seeing a bit of a light here, a beacon of hope for Team Liquid. Pla is going wild, doing all that she can, just so they could just extend more of this round. 9-9 onto the kill score, still the lead is onto TQ. They've got the Lord onto their hands. They're left to defend for their base, and looking at the instant replay, a very nice call there for Daiki as well, risking her life, going to the jump, plus Kla finally getting the position to go for the free hit is actually everything. That is what you want if you're TLPH, but on the mid lane.
Rui gets an assassination with a Shadow Kill in the back, and it's going to be Ramisi who gets taken down. Traded for Cool, but it's a roam for a jungler.
Still, Terra Queen's winning the most here. Team Liquid, so much resources just to take down one roam hero here for TQ. Looking at the damage taken ranking, of course Langrina will be topping up the charge. He's doing a terrific job to somehow confusing the members of Team Liquid here on where should they go, who should they target. They've got the gist of it, they got the idea also. But sometimes Ramisi just isn't there yet. They're not ready for any clashes, but it's forced upon them by TQ. Ready Amplific Gun here for the Moskov. And as well, oh, wait. I thought that was going to be a jump here for Terra Queens, but still, they got the groove here. They got the tempo, Mirko.
It's all up to Claw at this point of the game, man. If Claw can stay away from the Vice Curse of Blood, over, landing on Soju. Now Rui dealing with Daiki as a massive stun in the back with AOG as well, but Sakoshi just dashes away. The SOD doesn't land. Rui gets the kill.
They're doomed.
And Claw is alone in the bottom lane. Hlang is sent to cancel the recall and will be able to find it. Claw, the only beacon of hope for TL, will be zoned away in the bottom lane as Terra Queen secure a podium finish at MWI 2025 at the Esports World Cup.